Hi, my name is Rosalie Desmond and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Australia. Today I'm going to play with the very vintage Hostess stamp set from the 2018 to 2019 annual catalogue. The Hostess stamp sets can be purchased when you're using Stampin' Rewards. So if you place a big order or you have a party and you have some sales, this is something you may be able to pick up quite cheaply. So the first thing I've got is a thick piece of Very Vanilla cardstock, and it's an A4 sheet cut in half and scored in half. For those of us that are in Australia, this means that it fits into a standard size envelope. Then I'm going to use a piece of Merry Merlot cardstock, which is 9 centimeters by 13.5 centimeters, and a piece of regular Very Vanilla cardstock, which is 8.5 centimeters by 13 centimeters. So they're just slightly smaller than each other, just so they can layer up and allow a little bit of the color to shine through. Now, as it says in the stamp set, it gives you a bit of a vintage look. So I'm going to have a bit of a play around with this and see if I can turn it into a Christmas card. So the two images I was thinking we might have a bit of a go with is this floral one just here, which, while it's flowers and things, it kind of makes me think of a Christmas wreath. And then I thought this doily one here would also make quite a nice little image. So the colours I've chosen to use are Shaded Spruce and Merry Merlot. So I thought I might ink up my fake wreath in Shaded Spruce. Not being particularly careful with how I'm stamping it, because a lot of it's actually going to be covered. I'm going to stop there. I'm quite happy with that look. Now I'm using Merry Merlot to create a bit of a background. I don't want it particularly dark, so I'm going to ink it up, stamp it off. Might add just a little bit more red over here. I'm wanting to grunge it up just a little bit, so I'm going to use and ink the edges a little bit. And then I'll grab some of the Merlot. And the last thing I want to do to the top is I'm going to add some of the Champagne Mist shimmer paint. Now every time I use it, I give it a bit of a mix. So I shake it up a little bit. And I've got this one's dedicated to just to the paint as well. It's just giving me just that tiny bit of sparkle. I'm also grabbing the piece of Merry Merlot. I'm not sure if that's picking up on the camera, but it's got a bit of shimmer around the edges, which means when I layer it up, well, it's got colour, it's also got the shimmer coming through. So for the Christmas sentiment, I'm going to be using the Merry Christmas Thinlit dies, and I'm looking for Merry Christmas. Now, because the Merry Merlot cardstock is not actually going to be, you're not going to see the middle of it, I'm going to utilise that piece of cardstock to cut out the Merry Christmas sentiment. As you can see, it well and truly fits within the border. I also want the sentiment to be a bit shimmery, so I'm going to use the paint again, and I'm going to paint up the centre before I cut it out. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then I will run this through the Big Shot. I'll be back in a moment. So I've run that through the Big Shot. You can either poke these out with a pokey tool, or as I'm doing, use a die brush. Now I'm just going to layer that up. And then I'm going to add some metallic sequins. I'm going to use some glue dots and some of the larger sequins. And the glue dot's slightly bigger than the sequin, so I'm just pushing it underneath. That is the finished card. So this is a way you can make some Christmas cards using non-Christmas stamp sets. Sometimes it's really nice to think outside the box and use something in a slightly different way than the way it was designed. I think it looks quite sweet. I could have gone with a silver or a gold or a copper foil for the sentiment, and it would have popped even more. If I was going to make some more, I probably would have a bit of a play around with the metallics, with the metallic foil sheets to see how they come up as well. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you'd like to see more of my work, subscribe below. And until next time, happy crafting. Thanks very much.